Well, it is 10:27, which is a lot later than I was wanting to get on the road today. I spent about 20 minutes getting, oh, now he's getting a drink, getting Badger in the car because he's afraid of it. I hate to tell him that's going to limit his stops if it takes that to get him in the car. 10:30, stop and top off the gas tank. 19 hours non-stop, 18 hours non-stop, or with just gas. So probably about 24 hours. So maybe I'll be in Nolanville and Killeen by noon tomorrow. Hey, how about that? So we're not quite an hour into the trip. Tell you, with all the frustration, the stress of all that last minute crap that didn't get done, packed, that stuff that I left undone with Oak Village, by the way. It's needs plumbing help. There's just new shower shower knobs need put in, and kitchen sink drain. You got the sink installed and everything, but I didn't have the plastic pieces for the drain. So she needs help. Somebody help her, please. But with all that, and then Badger not wanting to get in the car, it took probably 10 minutes. I built him a ramp this morning that he didn't want to use. It was just a lot to get going this morning. And then I got a few texts on the way from people saying goodbye and wishing me safe travels. And it was a little, got me right here. But we're off, towing a trailer for the third time in my life. First time I started a grass fire, so hopefully that won't happen again. My friends in College Station will hopefully remember that mission trip. I think that entire trip cost us 5 tires and one fender off of a trailer because one of the blowouts took the fender off, and a grass fire. So I can tell that trailer's back there. It's it's only a 4x8 U-Haul. It's got furniture in it. And some miscellaneous stuff. I can tell it's back there. And then I got a couple 100 pounds in here that I'm not used to hauling around. So I can tell. Firefly is a little thirstier with that. It's costing me, it looks like so far about 5 miles a gallon difference from hauling the trailer and all the extra weight. But we're off in the beginning. We have 1,034 miles to go. Less than 16 hours if we literally did not stop, and we know that ain't happening. Because I'm old, I gotta take naps. We gotta stop for gas and then let the puppy do his thing. So we're not gonna roll in at 3 a.m. But we'll be in Killeen tomorrow, the Killeen area. Tomorrow morning sometime, mid to late morning, I'm guesstimating. See how then. So we just got out of a long construction area, following the pilot car. But while we were waiting for the pilot car, the flagman, not flag anymore, I guess, he's got a stop and slow sign. Anyway, he came over to the window of the chat, which was really nice, except for the fact that Badger Butt back there went berserk, barking. He's got to get used to people. So it was hard to have a conversation with the barking behind me. But he knocked over the ramp that I had built, that I had set up sideways behind the seats. So now he's got hard wood. He's avoiding it. He's sitting on the back half of his dog bed. He's sleeps on hardwood floors. I don't know why he won't lay on that. But anyway, there's nowhere to pull over. So he's just going to have to live with it until I come to a town. I think that there might be one town between where I'm at and the Nebraska state line. I don't know if this is the right route, but the first time I came to South Dakota in that frigid February of 21, where it's 25 below zero the whole time I was up here. But the first town, we crossed the South Dakota line, and the first town is Bone Steel. Bone Steel. Is that not the most South Dakota name there is? Bone Steel. It's a little town. Never stopped in it. Driven through it a couple times. I'm thinking that might be the only town between me and the line, but I'm not positive. My GPS doesn't show me that far out. Yeah, Badger does not like people. He's such a coward. He barks like crazy. So far, a 5-mile construction zone. It is, I don't know, what are we at? 100 miles, 105 miles? And we're still in South Dakota. So, actually, I don't think we've made it to winter yet. Man. That had to have gone through winter at 100 miles. Anyway, that's the status. I'll keep you updated. Y'all behave. Nebraska. One state down. I have left South Dakota. Now I got Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and then I'm in Texas, but I've got like 5 hours once I hit the Texas line. So we are at 165 miles. Out of 1,000, 909, according to Ethel, my GPS. GPSs are always named Ethel, just like squirrels are always named Frank, just in case you didn't know that. At least in our house. We've decided, Victoria's decided that rabbits, since we have many around in and around our yard, rabbits are always named Eddie. And if you get that reference, you're old. You need to take some ibuprofen for your back. And you listen to country music. There you go. Periodic updates as we go. I got about, sign said 41 miles to O'Neill, Nebraska, which we've stopped at a few times to eat, but probably not today. It's only 1:30. I will stop for gas though. Below half a tank. Firefly is doing well with the trailer. It says 16.5 miles per gallon, which is on the highway. I usually get 20 to 21. I think the best I've gotten is 21.5. So 4, maybe 5 miles per gallon difference from haul to haul. Yeah, easy for you to see by hauling the trailer. So pretty good, I think. Considering it's a brick towing a brick. What can I say? So I will update you as I go. Love y'all. Behave yourselves. Every time I reach for a snack, I find a dog head right here going, "Oh, what you up, Dad? I'd like some." So, trying to cross the middle of Nebraska. Nothing major to report. But it occurred to me that many people would hate this route. We're kind of zigzagging a little bit, it seems like, but it's all on these state routes. And it keeps slowing down through these little towns, many of whom I'm going through Main Street. I just got through Albion. Main Street is 20 miles an hour, speed trap, I'm sure. I like traveling that way. I would much rather take a route like this and slow down to see all these little towns than to hit the interstate, where the only thing you see is industrial areas or heavily commercialized areas that are built up. from the interstate, it's my experience is every city in America looks the same. You can't get a sense of the history or the character of a town from the interstate, from the highway. You just can't. Now, this is actually the fastest route from Pierre down to where I'm going, in Texas. I could have gone all the way to Sioux Falls and dropped down the interstate past Omaha and maybe a little further. And then I think you pick up in Oklahoma a highway back to Oklahoma City. And then interstate from there south. That's actually longer. Now the downside is there's not rest areas on these straight highways. Which so far has been okay. But at some point, the puppy's going to need to go running around. And I'm going to need to sleep this evening. So we're going to need a rest area or someplace that I can pull over for a few hours this night after it gets dark. But we'll burn that bridge when we come to it. I got 3 miles and I'm going to hit another Genoa. I don't know how they pronounce it that way. But we'll see another little town. And I will see you all later. Salina, Kansas. We're at a rest area just south of Salina anyway. About as close, I think, as I'm going to be able to get to saying anything about exactly the halfway point. Because I think I'm about 25 miles or so shy of the halfway point. We're at a rest stop. I'm going to eat a quick dinner here. Just fed the dog. And I'm going to see if I can take a nap. If Mr. Barkerson back here, Barkley Barkerson, will let me. Because he has this tendency to bark loudly whenever he sees anyone, any human being. Got to break him with that. So halfway, it is about 8:45. Try to get a little shut-eye. See y'all later. Bye. It's sunrise, as you can see from the light coming from the left. Coming up on Oklahoma City. That's 6:49 a.m. We're looking for a McDonald's so I can get some breakfast burritos for me and some scrambled eggs for the pup. And then we need to make a comfort stop for the pup. Probably let them run around a little bit if I can find a place with some grass. Ethel, the GPS says the ETA is 11:53 a.m. But that assumes going the speed limit, which I ain't, and traveling with a puppy, which I is. So, probably going to be more like 1. I'm doing 65 on the interstate. I got a guy going slower than me. Well, I got brake lights. This is fun. Anyway, Oklahoma City. We have about 6 hours left. I'm 2/3 of the way there. We're getting there. We're getting some wind farms. You can see that. It's foreshortened, but you can see the windmill up ahead of us. Directly ahead. Coconut Bed. There's 2 of them. There's a whole bunch more to either side. And I'm sitting here thinking, I think they're kind of majestic, graceful, standing proudly, propellers gracefully spinning in the wind. And anybody who talks about film being an eyesore, I'm pretty sure has never seen an oil field. I I've been through the oil fields in West Texas, and it's ugly, and it stinks. If I had to choose between the two, I would certainly choose the sight of windmills than the just blight that is an active oil field. So, if you're wondering why I haven't recorded too many front-facing videos, it's because this is why. This is what most of the trip has been. Not that it's not pretty scenery, but there's just nothing exciting about going down a highway, especially the interstate. I will do one more front facing in a few minutes. Well, however long it takes. You'll see. Every time I look in the rearview mirror, and it's been 850 miles, and every time I look in the rearview mirror, I'm startled to see that U-Haul right there, blocking my view. The Red River looms large in the lore and history of this region. You hear it in stories. Old West. You got the Red River rivalry between Texas and Oklahoma. You got the cowboy love song, the Red River Valley. I'm coming up on the Red River. If you've never seen it, your first impression is probably, I would assume, going to be like mine was the first time I saw it, which was somewhere between underwhelmed and disappointed even. I'm going to turn the camera because all you're going to get roadway from this angle. As far as I can get it. There you go, the Red River. Certainly not the Missouri, not the Mississippi. It's just a muddy little river. I have just crossed the Red River, which means I am now on Texas soil. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the great state of Texas, that does not mean I'm almost there. Well, depends on your perspective, I guess. According to Google navigation, I still have 208 miles to go. So yes, I'm in Texas, but I got over 3 hours before I'm to my new home. So, stay tuned. Hey. Welcome to I-35. I'm not even in the Metroplex yet. I have never been through this part of Texas on I-35 without it being under major construction. And people drive like idiots. I'm speeding, and they're passing me like crazy. There's billboards when we left anyway, when we lived here before, that said, essentially, I-35, you'll love it when it's finished. I don't think it's ever going to be finished. It is perpetual construction. Correction, I was not speeding. I was doing the speed limit, which is 65. I have never enjoyed the drive between the Red River and south of the Metroplex. I hate driving in DFW, the Metroplex. It is. I'd rather drive in Houston, and that should tell you something. It's just never. It's never a fun experience. I'm going to be grumbly and grumpy until I get to the, I don't know, Corsicana maybe. Hopefully it'll thin out a little bit by then. It's already congested. It's Saturday. It should not be this bad. But I will endure. I normally avoid this. I avoid the highways if I can. If it had just been me, I'd be about 100 miles that way. Coming down through the Panhandle and Abilene and Amarillo. It's a much nicer drive. But because of the puppy and the fact that I want to get this drive over with, I don't want to prolong it, poor thing. He doesn't know what's going on. He just knows he's unhappy and he's been cooped up for over 24 hours now. So I bit the bullet and took the highway route. It shows you how much I love my dog. So it just occurred to me, literally just now, that when I was putting in my reservation for the trailer, I was reading through. I read all their recommendations. And I said something before about them. They recommended only no more than 55 miles an hour is recommended. And I've been doing 65, 66 the whole way. But they also recommended to not use cruise control. And let's see, I'm almost 900 miles in. I've used cruise control the whole way, unless I've been going through a town or like that construction where I couldn't use it. But I wonder if that's not a holdover from when cruise control was not as sophisticated as it is now. You remember, if you're of a certain age at least, when you were told not to use cruise control in the rain or in bad weather. Because if you would lose traction, then the cruise control, the wheels would spin. And then when you got traction again, it'd jerk you on the ground. Well, cruise control doesn't do that anymore if you're not aware of that. If you lose traction, the cruise control will kick off. It's a lot more sophisticated than it used to be. Now, granted, Firefly here is a 2016. She does not have the most up-to-date, state-of-the-art features. But she is still new enough to have modern cruise control. So, I guess maybe I'm just a scofflaw because I've been driving too fast. I've been using cruise control. And going through McDonald's, I even had a wheel and trailer up on the curb, trying to get around the drive-thru. Yeah, but she's hanging in back there. So far, no harm, no foul, right? We're, according to Ethel, 2 hours and 49 minutes away, 190 miles. I'll see you on the other side of the Metroplex, because I'm not going to try to record anymore until I get through. Well, I didn't make it. I'm not to the merge yet, although I didn't make it. I still got like 35 more miles, 36. If you're not familiar with Texas, for those of you who aren't, I-35, as it goes north past Waco, splits into two. 35 east and 35 west. 35 east runs through Dallas. 35 west runs through Fort Worth. I'm not sure where they join north off the top of my head, but They join miles south of the worst of the metroplex. So I made it through the worst of the traffic with no road rage incidents. Not that there wasn't a little bit of road rage. No rude gestures, no obscene gestures, and only a handful of expletives. So I count that as a success. And no accidents or almost accidents. Although I did inadvertently cut off a Kia, or Kia Soul, and then we ended up going back and forth past each other. So I was afraid to make eye contact because I knew I messed up the first time. That's it. I got to stop one more time for gas. Technically, she says we'll make it with about 50 miles left in the tank, but that's cutting up too close. So as I get out of the congestion here, I'll look for a truck stop or a convenient gas station, and I'll top off the tank one more time. GPS says an hour and 44 minutes, 103. Probably later than that because, again, I'm only doing 65 in a 70. And I have to stop for gas. So we're still looking at 115, 130. We're almost there. 120 miles to go. I've said it before. The river valleys and woods of Ohio, southwestern Ohio, are home. They're in my soul. There'll always be where I'm from. Sorry, that was in my next thing. There will always be where I'm from. The hollers of Kentucky will always be where my roots are, and they'll hold a special place in my heart. And the river bluffs, Pierre of South Dakota, and the Great Plains, and the Black Hills will be deeply etched into my memory and into my heart. Maybe even into my soul a little bit. But these broad, sweeping vistas, these cauldrons, these shallow bowls, valleys of Central Texas, even though sometimes they serve to bake your brains out in the middle of summer, they always make me feel like I belong. I remember making this particular leg of the trip, flying into I flew into Waco from some CBF church planter gathering or the other, I don't remember which, coming back from Decatur, Georgia. So I flew into Waco, so I was making this drive. I just entered Bell County. I was making this drive, looking at these views. And I realized how much this place has made itself a part of me. Or maybe I've made myself a part of it. I don't know. Cameras don't do it justice. Cell phone cameras don't do it justice. And I can't really show you flipping around. But yeah. I'm home. This, heading into Temple. From here, south and east is where I spent most of my time. That appears where Victoria worked. Spent a lot of time up there, where we did a lot of shopping, the movie theater, the Cinemark theater. It's all up here. So the nostalgia is kicking in a little bit. When we came down for Thanksgiving last year, we stayed with Mandy and Killeen. We didn't spend any time over here. I don't know that we came up to Temple at all. I think we hit Killeen or Belton just a bit. So yeah, it's familiar. Some of it's changed. This is church Victoria worked at is right over there to my left, about 5 blocks. Old home, nostalgia. The nostalgia is kicking in. Very vibrating kind of road. Hopefully it doesn't come through on the audio too much. I'm dropping down from Temple into Belton. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. Over there, the silver dome on the skyline. That's what I was waiting for. It's the Belton Expo Center. The Bell County Expo Center, sorry. It is in Belton. Belton is the county seat. When we lived in Mason, in Ohio, the WLW Tower was how I knew I was close to home. Because it's one of the biggest radio towers, tallest radio towers. The 50,000 watt station of WLW could be heard honestly from St. Louis to Cincinnati. But anyway, when I saw that tower, I knew I was getting close to home. Same way here. It's a little more subtle, but when I'd see that silver dome, it's right up here, just peeking out of the trees by that water tower. You missed the water tower. See that water tower? Look to the left. See that silver dome? We lived close to that. On this side, the other side of the interstate. But Harrington, where we lived, again, every time I see that silver dome, I always knew I was almost home. It's not going to work that well. Not my literal new home, because that's still 12 miles away. But emotional home, where I used to be called home. Yeah. That's what the Expo Center signified. He's my local Harley dealer. Spent a lot of money in that place. One of the things that I always loved living in Ohio was you would come over a hill, and then this river valley would open up in front of you. And I used to call it peekaboo views, because there was nothing there, and then all of a sudden there was. In particular, if you're coming in Route 4 off the highway into Hamilton, there's a point where you come over the hill and you're just looking down into this river valley. Hamilton is on the Great Miami River, and you're looking across this river valley, and you see the city of Hamilton filling that bowl, and on the far side you can see the hills rising and the trees on the other hill. And I always thought that was just like the coolest view. And when we lived here, Victoria and I both loved, as we're leaving Belton and heading towards Killeen. Again, this camera view is not going to do it justice. But as we round this bend and come down this hill, look at that. I know it's not as majestic on this little cell phone camera as it is in real life. There you go. See it sprawling out in front of you. Now that little sign of civilization right up ahead, that's Nolanville, which is going to be where I'll be living at least for a few months. So as I get closer, we'll restart and we'll see where the house is. So what again? Here's our exit. turn up here. At the stop sign. This needs to catch up. Bustling metropolis of Nolanville. This is really a bedroom community for Killeen. Where am I turning? Next one. Next one. It's Avenue I. I'm going to Avenue J. So I'm a block up. I'm going to turn not this street, the next one on 3rd. So we turn by the Methodist Church. And here we go. It's that house right there. That's my friend Jenny's car there. So let's see what we can see. Woof. What are you woofing? What are you woofing?